Hi, if you've worked with Docker on Azure, you're probably familiar with some of the services there. We recently released the Azure Container Instances, which is probably the fastest way to get up and running with containers in Azure. You're also likely familiar with Azure Container Service that uses orchestration tools like Kubernetes to scale containers. What I want to show you is a solution that is fast and easy to use, gets a container up and running quickly, but also has the ability to scale those containers out. My name is Jeremy Lickness. I'm a cloud developer advocate with Microsoft. Let's get started. The image I'm going to use for this example is a tiny Go program. The program that you use can be anything that goes into a Docker container. This simply returns some random numbers so that we can see the effect of running one versus multiple containers. In fact, it's got a very simple build script that simply builds a targeted Linux binary, and then that is in a Docker file from scratch, so it creates a really small image that I've published to the Docker Hub so that I can use it for these examples. I'm in my Azure portal, and as you can see, I don't have a resource group. Let's go ahead and create one. We'll call it My Container Example. Set the correct subscription, set a location, pin it to the dashboard, and create it. Our next step is to create some resources. I'm going to click the Create Resources button, and that's going to allow me to search everything. And what I'm going to create is a web app, and you can see that's highlighted right here. So we'll go ahead and create that. Name will be My Container Example. See if that's available. It is. Pick the subscription, the resource group. We're going to use the Linux preview, and we're going to go with any runtime stack because we're going to replace that with a custom image. So let's go ahead and create that. Now the site's been created and we can see an overview of it, and we can click on the URL to test our site. And as you can see, it shows that the service has been created. What I want to do is come back to the overview, go down to Docker Container. The Docker container is where we control what's being hosted. We've got a set of built-in images that you can look at different stacks. I'm going to use Docker Hub. I'm going to pick my JLickness Go small image. That's the Go image that I created. And I'll leave startup file empty because that's embedded in the Docker file itself. So I'm going to save that. And once it's saved, we can go back to the website and refresh. And we can see our new container exists. Another way to check this container is to use the Azure Cloud Shell. That's a built-in shell that's available from the portal. And then within the shell, which already has some commands pre-installed, I can type a curl command, paste the URL to the example, and I'm just going to echo an empty line after that. And you can see we get the same result. Now we've successfully hosted a container rather quickly. Let me show you how easy it is to scale that container. I'm going to pull this Cloud Shell down for a second and move over to this left-hand side and go to Scale Out. So Scale Out takes me to the service plan associated with this web app, and it gives me the ability to change my instant count. So here I'm going to change the count to 3 and save that change. Once it's saved, I'm going to come back to my Cloud Shell, and let's take a look at the curl command now. As you can see, a different container number came back. If we repeat the command, you can see we're actually moving between several different instances. That was fast, that was easy, and you're even able to auto scale based on CPU and memory. So this is a very powerful feature, And to learn more, I'd like to direct you to the documentation page that has everything you need to know to get started with running these Linux web apps on Azure.